What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video, and I'm really excited. I got my third subscriber on the channel, and this is Jake. He's in my Discord all the time, one of my best subscribers. Jake, thank you for coming on the channel, man. What's going on?
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me on here.
And I appreciate you coming on. As I always like to do in these interviews, like to start with how you became a Giants fan. Tell me some stories, growing up, what made you a Giants fan, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, growing up, I had no choice but to be a Giants fan. Like my entire fam, like there's pictures of me like in a crib, and my dad has like a Giants hat on. I had no choice. Like it's in my blood. Like I had no choice. But becoming a Giants fan was kind of, I don't know, like growing up, I was more into baseball than football. I didn't really. This is gonna sound funny, but like I didn't really start paying attention and watching the Giants until like the 2011 season.
Yeah, that
So
was
like
good.
up
That
to,
was a good season to pay attention
yeah,
to.
that was great. Yeah, and like that 2011 playoff run is when I really started to pay attention and like know the players and know what's going on. And of course, like growing up, I've watched games and stuff, especially around Christmas time,
Yeah.
but I didn't really care about it until around 2011.
That's what's great, though. That's what's great about bringing on subscribers because they all have different perspectives. My last guy went all the way back, to the LT days. You're more of a new generation Giant fan,
Yeah.
and you kind of never got to. I mean, in terms of a diehard approach, you never really got to see Eli when he was at his best outside of that first season,
Yeah.
which was his best year. And who was your favorite player? I'm assuming Eli. Who else on that team?
Yeah. And that 2011 team, or
Yeah,
just
just in
um,
general, I suppose. But
uh, Justin Tuck, JPP, all those defensive players, but definitely Eli because class act, can't do anything wrong. Two Super Bowls, can't go wrong.
Victor Cruz too, an instrumental
Cruz,
part.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have a Victor Cruz Super Bowl shirt.
Yeah. So let's jump in more into the modern day Giants.
All right.
Obviously, really since that year, it's been a complete mess. So you got a good first year of being
Yeah,
a
and
dire
then
Giants.
it's gone downhill ever since.
Yeah. We had that one year with the defense in 2016, but outside of that, it has been a complete mess. And some people, I mean, I think it's both. Some people point to that the defense has been horrible. Some people point to that we've had no a semblance of an offense because of the offensive line, because we haven't been able to run the football, so on and so forth. What did you think of the coaching staff hire? What did you think of the, all the offseason moves, free agent? Let's start with the coaching staff. What
Yeah.
did you think of Joe Judge when you first heard the name and the surrounding coaching staff behind him?
Well, when I first got the alert that the Giants have hired the Patriots special team slash wide receivers coach, I was like, who? I think everyone was like, who is this guy? Like, I've never heard of him. But then I did some research and found out who he was. He did stuff at Alabama too, so I
Yeah.
know like other background and stuff. But for like a day, I was like, we could have got Matt Rule. What happened to Martindale? Because I think we had interviewed him too.
Yeah, we
Or
had
was
we had interviewed Bieniemy, Martindale.
Yeah,
We were scheduled to interview Rule, and he never got here because,
right.
yeah, because we
And
interviewed Judge.
I think it was McDaniels. We were scheduled to interview with McDaniels, but we
Yeah.
got Judge came before him, and I think we settled with Judge before
Exactly. Yeah, I
McDaniels.
think
Yeah,
McDaniel's was 2 days later, which is going to be on the schedule.
yeah. So for like a day, I was confused and wondering what we're doing, but but after research and actually like not just reading headlines and stuff and actually diving into it, I was I was okay with it.
Yeah, I'm excited about Joe Judge. I know you are too because we talk in the Discord all the
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
I'm a big fan of his. I like what he's doing. I like his. The one thing I love about Joe Judge, he's bringing the Patriot way.
Mhm.
He's bringing nobody's above anybody else. This is a team atmosphere, and that is what really hits home with me with Joe Judge is that,
Right.
and how smart he is, his plan, the coaching staff he brought, and everything else.
Yeah, he's getting his PhD.
What did you think of the coaching staff in general? The guys he brought in. Are you a little nervous about Garrett? Are you the guys underneath him?
Garrett, not really. I mean, of course, kind of like Judge. When I read that Garrett was I just read Garrett coach, and I was like, oh no, because I did not want Garrett as a head coach. But as an OC, I think he's going to be fine. I mean, look at what he did with Romo and Dak. Like, I think he's going to be great for Daniel.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing. You want a guy that's good with quarterbacks. And I think that was the Giants' line of thing. Plus, he brings experience for an
Yeah,
inexperienced head coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Garrett would be ideal for us to be like the tutor for Judge, but
Right.
I mean,
That's true. Well, didn't do the most with didn't do the best with a lot of talent in Dallas. That's true. And we make fun of him all the time. But I do think, like you said, I do think he has a lot of success in the role he's currently in. And I think it's a common theme with everybody on this coaching staff. I think it's a common theme with the tight ends coach. Obviously with Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, they were failed head coaches, but there's a reason they became head coaches. They were successful in the roles they were in previously.
Yeah, they're good coordinators and position coaches. That's like you said. That's why they even became that position, just because they were so good at what they were doing before. So
yeah, exactly.
I think if they stick to that role, I think they're fine.
It's the same thing with Pat Shurmur. Shurmur got this job because he was a good OC. When you made him the head coach, he didn't work out. So, but I love what they did. And then in terms of free agency, what did you think of that? The moves? Were you a little bit underwhelmed? Did you like what they did?
I mean, underwhelmed. I mean, a little bit, but I mean, we haven't even seen them play yet, so I'm not gonna like bash any signing. I mean, am I upset we didn't get like a Conklin or a Littleton or some more higher name free agents? Yeah, but I'm not gonna lose sleep at night because we got Martinez and Fackrell and those other guys that I'm blanking on right now.
Bradbury.
Bradbury, yeah. Oh, I love Bradbury. I think Bradbury is probably our best free agent signing to me.
Yeah.
Just because.
I love the Bradbury pickup. It's what we needed, and it gives us freedom in the draft. Now, like last year, we went out there, we spent, 3-4 picks, if you include Sam Beal, 4 picks at the cornerback position between Beal, between Baker, Ballantyne, and Love. Now you go out there, you sign Bradbury, and I think we needed a veteran corner. Now you don't really need to look at that position in the draft.
Yeah, I think it definitely gives us more leeway to focus on more important positions that we need.
And let's get into the more important positions that we need.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. Is right. On defense, I think it's a coverage linebacker. I think we could definitely use a supreme edge rusher. We could use a free safety. And then on offense, you know me, a hog molly center, offensive tackle, and maybe a wide receiver threat. Let's get into the draft. Let's go over what you want to see on draft night from the New York Giants, whether they stay at 4, whether they trade down.
Well, ideally, I would like to trade down.
Yeah.
Just because you can acquire more assets and picks and stuff, and then that helps us out a lot. But if we stay at 4 and still take a tackle, I'm not going to complain because you never know if we even get any trade offers or options from anyone. So ideally, tackle in the first round is what I would want. Just like you, I'm a hog molly guy.
Yeah.
But and here's like we always say, like, oh, if we take Simmons, I'll understand. I'll be okay. But I'm kind of getting to the point where if we take Simmons, I might be a little upset because I know how valuable the tackle is and how much we need it to protect DJ and Saquon.
Yeah, listen. Like I've said all along, I'm gonna understand if they pick Simmons because he is a very talented player at a position of need. But I'm
Definitely.
with you. The more important pressing need for this football team, I've said it time and time again, offensive line. You invested in that quarterback. And, the common thing that a lot of my subscribers say that want to take Simmons, and I'm not, it's all opinion-based. I completely get the mindset. Our defense sucks. So I get why you want to take Isaiah Simmons. But the common talking point that they tell me, the other thing about taking a tackle that they knock, he's not going to be ready by year 1. And that may be the case. It may take an extra year for him to gel and for this. But then if you wait a year, it's going to be another year.
It's just never going to end. Like, we got to do it at some point. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So if your mindset is, oh, well, he's not going to be able to block the top edge rushers year 1, okay, well, then if you do it next year and you take the supreme tackle, it'll take another year for him. So then you're in year 4 into Daniel Jones's career, and you already haven't given him a sufficient offensive line.
Yeah, I don't get it, but whatever. Well, like, this thing is, like, it's like in 2018 when we took Saquon instead of Quentin Nelson or traded down and gotten a tackle, like, it's the same scenario. Like, we need a tackle and there's a flashy, and obviously different position it's a position of need, but it's a tackle, same, like, I don't know.
No, you're right. It's similar.
Yeah,
it's similar
like,
to 2018.
We need the tackle very badly.
Yeah, 2018 we needed a quarterback. As much as I love Eli Manning, there were 4 quarterbacks there, and it was a very top heavy quarterback draft class. Gettleman deemed that they weren't worth it, so we elected to go with Saquon. I think I'm in agreement with you. As much as I love Saquon, I'm not upset that we got him. He's the future of this team.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
better option would have been to trade down and get assets, get Nelson, get Chubb. But
Yeah,
like you said, we don't know if the trade was there. You hear
yeah,
rumors, but you don't know if the trade was there.
yeah. We can't just say like, oh, we could have traded down. What are we doing? Like, guys, we don't know. Like, what if there was no trade? Like, what if no other teams were willing to trade? Like,
Yeah,
we don't know.
you could speculate,
Oh, totally. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm
We can.
sure Giants fans will say the same thing after this draft. They'll say, "Why didn't the Giants trade down?" Well, what if Miami and the Chargers were sitting there and said, "We don't need to trade down"? They didn't give us an offer. You don't know.
Yeah, and also like, how much are we giving up? Like, it's like I don't want to give away like 4 draft picks just to go down a couple spots. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like give up too much also because we don't know what Jacksonville or Miami or I almost said San Diego, what the LA Chargers are gonna want to give away also. So
That's
I
the
don't know.
thing. That's the thing. And like you said, the further you fold, if you say you trade with the Raiders, you don't know who's going to be at 12.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big drop. Jaguars makes more sense because I still think you're getting a top tier tackle. Now, if they go with Simmons, which I still think is possible,
Hmm.
where do you think we're going in the second round?
Well, if we go Simmons in the second round,
In the
I
first
would.
round, yeah. Where are we going?
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
first round. Yeah, sorry about that.
I wish we get him in the second round.
Oh, imagine if he fell. Um, I mean, if we got Simmons in the first round, I would hope Gettleman would take the tackler center position in the second round then.
Yeah.
Just because we filled the defensive need in the first round, and then you go tackle or center, whether it be, I don't think Josh Jones will probably fall, but if he fell, maybe, or Ruiz in the second round,
That,
maybe.
yeah,
But
I would love that. Ruiz in the second round.
yeah,
I'm jumping. I'd actually be willing to trade up for Ruiz potentially.
yeah.
In the back like they did with DeAndre Baker last year.
Mhm.
If he's there at 30 or 31, I might not be willing to wait. I might want to go up and get him. I think he's a perfect fit for what the Giants need.
Yeah. Do you remember what we gave up last year to trade up for Baker? Because I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
what
We
the.
gave up a fourth and a fifth.
Oh, yeah. I'm okay with that. Let's do it.
And obviously, we swapped picks. We gave up
Yeah, yeah.
36 to
Mhm.
fourth and the fifth. I think we'd have to do something similar. If you wanted to jump from 37 to 31, and I'm not trying to give away my mock draft, but I think I'm going to orchestrate that trade because if Ruiz is there on draft night, but the 49ers have no draft picks until round 5. So
Mhm.
I think the Niners at 31, it makes a ton of sense for them to try to trade down, maybe get the 99th pick, get an extra
Yeah,
draft pick in this year's draft.
yeah,
And the Giants move up, they get their center. I think it makes a
yeah,
lot of sense for both teams.
yeah. So can I ask you something real quick? If
Yeah.
you don't
Go ahead,
care.
man.
So if we do go Simmons in the first round, would you consider taking like a Bond or a Gross Matos if we sit there in the second round, or if we go Simmons, no matter what, we're going center in the second round?
Listen, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a no matter what scenario. I think if there's a player there, and I don't know their draft board, but
Yeah.
if there's a player there that they have ranked well above the biggest area of need, say, like you said, Bourne is like 18 on their draft board, and the next best offensive lineman is, we'll say, Cushenberry or Austin Jackson, Lucas Yang, and they're like 45, I would think they would take the defensive player and they'd have to get by and try to find a project in the third round. In an
Yeah.
ideal world, I don't want to do that. It would help our defense, no doubt, but
Hmm.
I don't want to do that. I want to fix the offensive line, but I wouldn't rule it out. I think it's certainly a
Yeah.
possibility to go defense.
Yeah. So if we went, I guess the other way around too, if we went tackle in the first round, would you still want to tackle in the second round too, or would you want to address the defensive position more in the second round if we went tackle first?
If we went center, I would definitely be open to doing if we went tackle, but doubling up on the tackle, it would have to be a situation like Becton fell to us because of the drug test
Mhm.
for me to
Yeah.
even entertain it. Because then I get excited. I say to myself, well, I got a chance to get in a supreme tackle at 36, and I still got, and then he'll replace Solder the following year. I still think I'd prefer the center there or a defensive player.
Mhm.
But that's the only way I would even entertain it. If I went tackle in the first, for me to take another tackle, Becton would have to be there for me to even think about it.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world where Ruiz falls to me, because I'm thinking offensive line, I'm thinking long term, and then I fix my defense, through free agency next year, through the draft, so on and so forth, and hopefully with better coaching.
Mhm.
I'm shoring up that whole line for Daniel Jones. If Ruiz is there, I'm taking him, I think, no matter what. I think he's the perfect fit. I
Mhm.
don't think he's going to be there. But a great locker room guy, great culture guy, fills our biggest area of need, and the kid grew up in Jersey. What's not to like?
I mean, I actually didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a perfect fit. I would. because because you see like all these different mock drafts and you see all these different rankings of positions. So from what I've been hearing, Ruiz is probably the consensus number one center. But if we want like a Cushionberry or I was
Hennessy.
for
Hennessy's
Tennessee
starting to
or
move up. Yeah.
yeah, if we want either of those, would you be okay with that, or is Ruiz like if ideally you would like Ruiz?
I'm not gonna cry if they take Cushionberry. I mean, if Ruiz is there, I want Ruiz if we're going center. But if he's not there and they take one of those two guys in the second round, I'm not gonna cry. It's a huge need, and they're supposedly very interested in Hennessy. Hennessy's another guy, grew up in Jersey, Giant fan, played at Temple. Really, kind of reminds me a lot. Not so much with the Giant fan aspect, but reminds me a lot of when we took Justin Pugh. Justin Pugh went to Boston College, which was the alma mater for Tom Coughlin. That's where he coached. And Tom Coughlin had a history of drafting Boston College prospects. I could see it. I could definitely see it because he's really gaining traction late in the process. I wouldn't be shocked if we took Hennessy in the second. Wouldn't be my line of thinking, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'd rather go if Ruiz is gone. I wouldn't be opposed to take, and we haven't even talked about the safety. You go with the safety as well, free safety, give you more versatility in that secondary. There's a lot of ways they could go in round two.
Yeah, this draft's gonna be fun. We don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully it goes our way. Probably won't, but
That's not the
I
way
mean
to think.
no, but I mean like we're not gonna. Not everyone's gonna. What I meant was not everyone's gonna be 100% happy.
Oh,
Probably
of course, the fan base is divided. Yeah.
There's gonna be the Simmons fans who if we don't take him, are gonna want to have Gettleman fired and.
Let's talk about Gettleman real quick. Let's talk about Gettleman. You know I like Gettleman. I don't love everything the guy does, but I like him.
Right. Yeah, he's not perfect, but you know.
Let me get your take on Gettleman. What do you think of Gettleman since he's been here? And what did you think about that story that came out that he, another GM, Bean, who used to work with him in Carolina, kind of led on to make people believe that he kind of tries to play with the media and influence the media into making him think that he's not as tech savvy and smart as he may be.
Well, that's true. That is hilarious, because he does kind of seem like kind of a trolly kind of person to me, kind of like poking fun at people, kind of. So I kind of, and plus Bean has no like, why would he? He has no. He doesn't get any like
Incentive.
Yeah. There's no reason for him to say it like for Giants fans' sake. Like, so I think that is probably true because like why else like would he say it? But in terms of Gettleman himself, I mean, there's definitely some things you can question him on, like the Leo trade and in 2018 taking Saquon when we were not in a win now mode.
Yeah.
But how can he? I mean, he gets so much hate. How can you not like him? You know, like
he's kind of like Daniel Jones when we first drafted him.
Yeah.
You want to root for him.
But like if you saw what he took over, like I don't know what people are expecting.
Yeah.
Like all those bad draft picks Jerry Reese had and all the cap we had, the huge contracts we had that they had to get rid of and stuff. Like I don't know what people were expecting, honestly.
Yeah, unfortunately, he came to New York, and you know as well as I do that New York, and I'm not saying he's not at fault. The Alec Ogletree trade, probably not the best trade. The Leo Williams trade, not the best trade. Nate Solder, even though I think he had to do it, we didn't have a tackle, not the best signing. He's definitely had some holes.
But the thing is, like with the free agency signing, even those, like he at least has addressed positions we need. Like, of course, the contracts maybe not have been great and the players haven't worked out, but he's at least trying to address the team needs. You know what I mean? He's not just taking like bad positions. At least he's at least trying. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, he inherited a situation with very little cap space because Jerry Reese in 2016 tried to save his job, spent all the cap money, gave us one good year, and then we were in the situation we were in. He comes to New York. First off, it's an impatient fan base. We haven't been a good team since when you started watching. So it's already been 7 years already, right? By the time he gets here, he inherits a team with aging veterans that he wasn't a part of, that are overpaid, that are starting to regress. He's the first year, and plus, in my opinion, and we'll never know this, I think Mara told him, I want to stick with Eli for one more year when he got the job.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally in agreement with you there.
Yeah.
Because I think Mara, well, I mean, even when we saw Eli's retirement conference, like Mara was like, he was like immediately going to retire his jersey like the year after he retired. Like, right. I think Mara he definitely wanted to keep Eli in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is, people say this is now year 3 of the rebuild. It's really year 2. The first year, I think, in my opinion, by saying that you got to go with Eli, or I would prefer if you went with Eli, that to me, he was still trying to win, which kind of, explains the Saquon pick. They wanted to see what they
Mhm.
had with Odell and Saquon. Then they said the next year, we're going to blow this up. Odell's a mess. We need a quarterback. Last year was the first year of the rebuild. This is now the second. And I think fans need to realize that. I think fans need to be patient. But you're already hearing articles. People are calling for Gettleman's head before the year even starts. Uh, And we got to see what we got, man. That's my take, man. You got to see what we got. You got to see how this team progresses. Really tough schedule this year. What do you think of the schedule?
Oh, oh boy. If we win 6 games, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you look at our home schedule, I think if we win 2 home games, like that's the 16-0 season.
well,
It's like
well, we play the Redskins twice, so we're 2-0.
right. So we'll definitely get one there.
No, we get 2. 2-0.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah. You know what? You know what? We'll sweep the division.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. What do you think of the new coaches in the division? Let's talk about that real quick. The Rivera going to the Redskins, McCarthy going to the Cowboys. Obviously, that's going to be one of the biggest storylines. 3 teams with new coaches in the division, brand new looks. What do you think of that? How that all transpired?
Well, as much as I love to give Redskins and Cowboys fans hate, um, well, I live in Carolina, so I'm a big Rivera guy. I think he's a good hire. He's a good defensive mind, and they got Jack Del Rio too. Is he the DC or is he just
Yeah,
like a
DC. Yeah.
yeah DC? Yeah, and him. I think their defense is going to turn around almost instantly, especially if they get Chase Young. But and then in Dallas, I'm not a big McCarthy guy, but I think he's a little bit better than Garrett, so I think there'll probably be some improvement there.
Yeah.
But I'm not huge on McCarthy, but I was really happy the Giants didn't get him because I know we were interviewing him. But I'm glad he went to Dallas.
I'm completely with you on that. And McCarthy was the last guy I wanted on the New York Giants.
Yeah,
Rivera, I was a big fan of. I would have been very happy if we brought in Ron Rivera. I wanted Rivera and Rule. Those were the 2 guys I wanted. I didn't know much about Judge.
yeah,
Then when I did my research on Judge, I said I understand the signing. Even
yeah,
though he's 38 years old, didn't seem like the typical New York Giants signing. That's for sure, based on the
yeah,
past.
yeah. But I mean, some people bash the signing because they say he's never been a head coach before. He has no experience in it. But Matt Rule has no NFL experience at all. Judge has at least been in NFL locker rooms and knows the cadences and know like what the daily life is and stuff. I know Rule did great in Temple and Baylor, but I think when you're jumping from college to the NFL, it's not the same.
Yeah, Rule had
You
a
know.
brief stop with the Giants. 1 year with the
Right? Yeah,
Giants.
he was like a I think I don't remember exactly. I remember
Yeah,
doing some
I don't
research
even
on.
remember his exact
Was
title.
wasn't it like
It wasn't a prominent role.
wasn't it like assistant like offensive line coach or something like that?
Something like that. He was an
Yeah,
assistant of some kind.
yeah. But I mean, like you, I was definitely on the Rule train. But I mean, Judge, I feel like you can't go wrong with.
Yeah,
I think we got like a diamond in the rough kind of guy with him.
yeah, I'm with you, man. And I think this team is setting themselves up. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm optimistic, setting themselves up for hopefully an 8, 9, 10 year stretch of solid football, where we don't have to go into the season where we're like 6 wins at best.
Yeah,
Where we go into the season, we say 8 wins at worst. That's what I want to get back to. I want to get back to when Eli first came here, well, even before that, 2000 for the most part. We were always a competitive football team. I want to get back to that, and I think it starts in the trenches. And
yeah.
the NFL drafts in a couple of days. We're going to find out where they go.
And also just to add on to what you've been saying, I'm sure everyone's in the same boat. I'm just tired of the media treating us like a laughing stock and like we're the new Browns, even though we kind of are. But it's like none of my friends are Giants fans. They're all like Steelers, Jets, just every other fan base. And whenever I try to talk about the Giants, they're like, "Oh, you guys suck. Oh, shut up.
Yeah,
You're not like we don't even like our voice has no like value or opinion at all." I want to go back to being respected, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
and I think we're headed there.
Yeah.
I think we're headed there. I think that we got rid of the guys that they felt like were not locker room guys that we could talk about Beckham all day, Janoris Jenkins. We got rid of those guys. They're cleaning up the locker room. It takes time, but I think they're headed in the right direction. It's all going to rely on Daniel Jones at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones and obviously Joe Judge. Those are the two most important pieces to a football team is your head coach and your quarterback. To make sure that Jones gets the job done, I want to fix the O-line. We also definitely need to fix that defense. That's what Giants football is all about. And it's going to take another year, I think. But
Yeah.
once we orchestrate everything, I think this team's headed in the right direction. I think we're going to be competitive for a decade. I really do. I think the Giants are going in the right path.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the blueprint. At least if we go tackle prop, we can like see it happening, but it's gonna take a couple of years. And Giants fans, I know this is asking a lot, but Giants fans need to be a little patient.
And I get it. They've been patient now
Oh
since you
yeah, I
started. You've
mean,
been patient since you started watching.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I get the now mentality. But
yeah,
listen, I don't know if anybody watched this as a Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan my entire life. I've been patient since the late '90s. So it could be a lot worse. And the Knicks continue to be short-sighted, and that's their biggest problem. They flip coaches, they flip GMs, they don't have sustainability. The Giants, we got to be patient. We got to give Judge a chance, and in my opinion, you got to let Gettleman see this rebuild through. I don't think he's going to be here for that much longer because he's older, he's up there in age. But you got to see the rebuild through. You got to give him a chance. Let him draft this year, and hopefully continue to build the team the right way.
yeah, definitely. And also, like, I almost feel like it almost feels like people want Gettleman to fail just so they can be like, oh, I was right, told you he sucks. But like, don't you want your team to do good? Like, I don't get all the Gettleman bashing, honestly. But whatever.
I get it. I think it's
I
his,
get it.
I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
his personality.
I get it. But
And you want to know what the real Gettleman hate comes from, in my opinion? Odell Beckham. I think there were
oh,
so
yeah,
many
yeah, totally.
fans
Yeah.
that were head over heels in love with Odell Beckham, and when they traded him, everybody said, "I'm done with this guy. I'm done
Yeah.
with the Giants until they get rid of this guy."
Well, it was the Odell trade, and then in the draft we drafted Daniel Jones, who most people didn't have until a second or even like a third round prospect.
Yeah,
And so people are like, "What is this guy doing? Get rid of him." And even though Daniel has shown promise and has shown he can be I don't want to call him a franchise quarterback after 1 year, but he has shown promise and that he can be a good quarterback for us. I think there's still going to be people, no matter what, that are going to say fire Gettleman just because of the Odell trade.
yeah. But at the end of the day, let me ask you:
It-
if you take your Odell hat off, Odell fans, because that's what I call people who give that trade no chance. If
and,
you look at that trade now, how could you say the Giants lost it?
oh my God. Well, I'll be I'll be fair. When I first read, I don't know if you were the same way, but when I first read the Giants trade Odell, I was mad for like a day, and then I realized what we got and realized what we got rid of in Odell, and I was completely understood because he did some antics and he done. I guess, and also, I mean, trading him after we just signed him was a little questionable, but it happened. We just
Yeah,
have to get
yeah.
over it.
No. I was never mad. I was shocked. I didn't.
Yeah,
You never think your franchise player is going to be traded, but I always understood the line of thinking. The guy was never, he was always going to the media with Eli Manning. He had his off the field stuff. He was definitely a headache for the coaching staff and for the general manager. So I understood it. But when you really look at that trade, when you factor in the cap space that was provided, we ended up with O'Shane Ximines, Dexter Lawrence, and Jabril Peppers plus James Bradbury because it created about $15 or $16 million in cap.
yeah.
So you could argue the four core pieces of our defense were because we got rid of Odell. Plus, you probably never draft Darius Slayton if Odell's still on the team.
No, you probably don't. And I'm a big, I've talked about it in Discord before. I'm a big Slayton guy, so was happy about that, definitely.
Darius Slayton, I think, is going to have a mega year for the Giants. I think he fits this offense perfectly, and we could talk about that all day. I'm a huge Slayton guy. I'm looking forward to him and Ingram. If he could stay healthy, I think he fits this offense very well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess speaking about Ingram, there's been talks about trading him and stuff. I think I read the 49ers might be interested in acquiring him. If we got offered like a second round pick or a third round pick, would you trade him?
I probably would. And
Yeah,
I hate to say I like Ingram. I want him to work out with the Giants, but sometimes when you think
he just can't stay healthy.
yeah, when you think from a general manager's perspective, I think you have to be cold blooded and you have to think long term.
Mhm.
And you have to think about all these players we're going to have to sign on second term contracts. I personally don't think you'd get that. But it is a thin tight end class. I don't really see why the Niners would want to do that. They have Kittle already, but maybe they're trying
I
to
mean,
recreate the Patriots when they had Hernandez and Gronk.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, and plus Ingram's also more of a receiving tight end too, so he could like because Kittle's more of a. I mean, obviously I know
He's
he's
an
a good
all-purpose
receiver.
tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely more of a blocker than Ingram. So
Yeah.
maybe their line of thinking is maybe put Ingram on the outside and just have Kittle. I don't know. I don't
The
know.
thing is, the Niners don't even have a second round pick. It would have to be a future.
Yeah.
From what I've read, the 31 pick, I don't even think twice. I do it in a second.
Hmm.
We'll have to wait and see how it plays out on draft night. There have been rumors that the Giants are looking to trade Ingram. He's still in a walking boot. That's why I don't think it'll happen. If they trade him, I think it'll come mid-season if he's playing
Yeah.
well and the team isn't. But we'll see. I'm excited to see Ingram if they keep him. I think he does fit the mantra of Joe Judge with the
Hmm.
versatility aspect, and obviously with the Air Coryell offense, it focuses on the tight end. So I think he could have a really good year if he could stay healthy, which he never does, but hopefully he
Yeah.
can.
But yeah, like you said, with Garrett now coming in as the OC, I think it'll definitely help Ingram out a lot because we saw what he did with Wynn in Dallas. So I know it's kind of a different playing style, but I don't know, we'll see how Ingram does with Garrett.
100%, man. And that's one of the players I'm looking most forward to. But, Jake, we're going to wrap it up. We've been recording for 31 minutes. You did a great job. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking New York Giants. Thank you for being one of my best subscribers. And have a good one, buddy.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You got it.